Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us here at Oki. I'm Renee, and today I am going to present to you some information. Let's see, let me go back. Yeah, information to equip you with the essential knowledge about a safe excavation with practice, which not only is going to protect you, but also safeguard our communities. Before we dive into the details, I'm going to remind you of our key motto, which is dig smart and dig safe. You can reach out anytime at education, education, at oki811.org if you've got any questions during our session. Now, we're going to set the stage for what you can expect in the next 90-ish minutes. We're going to cover the Oklahoma Underground Facilities Damage Prevention Act and complete 811 process from planning to incident response. Whether you're a veteran in the field or you are new to excavation, this workshop is designed to ensure that you're going to be informed and prepared. So we'll go ahead and get started if everybody's ready, and we'll go with today's agenda and jump right into Module 1. Let me minimize this. All right, so we're going to start first with your responsibilities. And with the Module 1, we're going to explain to you that Oki 811, we're a nonprofit organization. We operate under Oklahoma's one call system. It connects you, the excavator, with the utility operators who have the underground facilities. They make it clear that Oki 8, we want to make it clear, Oki 811, we do not perform the locates ourselves. We transmit locate requests to the appropriate operators. And then in Mod 2, there'll be the foundations of the one call system. It's going to be what Oki 811 is. Again, the nonprofit notification center, not a utility. We're going to give you our role in the communication process and how it goes from the excavator to Oki 811 and then to the operators. How to locate tickets, which are processed and distributed, and then a sample porter submission screenshot or a ticket. So on the next screen, you will, what we do, it's a free statewide nation notification service that connects excavators with utility operators. We have had a legal foundation since 1982, and state law does require everyone to contact see if I can speak, contact 811 before you begin digging. And 811 is a nonprofit member. We've been a funded organization created in 1979. The way it works is the excavator submits a ticket via phone or web. Oki 811 notifies all utility operators that are in the dig area that have registered to have lines there. The operators that we send this to, they send locators out to mark their lines within the 48-hour business window. And why this matters? It's going to protect people, it prevents outages, and it can avoid costly damages and even save lives. It can impact over 1 million locate requests every year. We're keeping Oklahoma's underground infrastructure safe. And the Oklahoma Underground Facilities Damage Prevention Act, often referred to as OUFDPA, and the OCC, Oklahoma Corporation Commission. The law in 1982, the OUFDPA, went into effect. That makes it a legal requirement to notify Oki 811 before any excavation. The purpose of this is the law was designed to protect underground utilities, prevent accidents, and ensure safe excavation across the state. The enforcement, the Oklahoma Corporation Commission, they are the ones responsible for enforcing compliance. They focus especially on excavations that are near regulated pipelines, since these carry the highest risk to the public safety and infrastructure. OCC does have the authority to investigate violations, assess penalties, and ensure operators and excavators follow the law. Next, the OKI 811 responsibilities. We're breaking down the responsibilities for the excavators, operators, or locators, and OKI 811. We'll use the table format on a slide. We'll highlight key duties such as submitting tickets, marking lines, maintaining records, and verifying responses. You'll clarify that an enforcement authority comes from the OCC. The one call system, when you submit a locate request, you verify responses, you maintain marks in the area, and then you dig carefully around those markings. Operators are to respond on time, mark accurately as to where their lines are, and maintain service area maps. OKI 811, we transmit tickets, maintain records, provide support tools, and do the visual side-by-side comparison table of duties. And again, we do not do any of the locates. I'm sorry, we're going to have a visual side-by-side comparison table of whose duties are whom's duties are whose. I'm not really good at English in that area. Please forgive me. All right, so on your locate request, always call OKI or submit online before digging. Even when you're doing a small job like planting a tree, putting in a mailbox, or anything like that, you can hit a line. The national stat is that every 6 minutes, a line is damaged in the U.S. when 811 is not called. Maintain the marks. So that means marks are only valid for 14 days in Oklahoma. If they fade, wash away, become disturbed by weather or equipment, you need to request a remark. Keep those markings clear to protect you and your crew. And then respect the tolerance zone, which is 24 inches on each side of any of the marks that you find. Use hand tools or vacuum excavation when you are close to those lines. Report any damage, even if it's a small nick, because it can cause bigger problems later on down the line. You are to maintain maps. The facility operators must keep their digital service area boundaries accurate in our OKI 811 system. If there are outdated or missing maps, the notifications don't reach the right operators, which can create risk. They mark accurately using the APWA color codes, red for electric, yellow for gas, etc. Marks must be placed within 48 business hours of the request. The accuracy is critical because a wrong mark, it could be just as dangerous as no mark at all. And they need to respond promptly. Oklahoma law requires that positive response for every ticket. Even if there is no conflict, the operators must reply clear so that the excavators know the status. If there is no response or there's an uncertainty, or I'm sorry, if there's no response, that equals uncertainty and a higher risk. So stay reachable. So ensure that whomever you've got in as the contact person is available for coordination. And excavators often need clarification or emergency support. Accessibility ensures the issues are resolved quickly. Now, OKI has a 24/7 operation. We have our online system that is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. They can be submitted anytime when doing it online. Our call center is open Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. through 6 p.m., and you can do phone requests during those times. This helps to ensure that both emergency and regular locate requests are always handled. We distribute the requests. Every locate ticket is processed and routed to the facility operators in the dig area. And this is how the excavators and operators stay connected through OKI 811. Maintain the records by keeping all tickets, operator responses, and communications logged and stored. Those records support compliance, audits, and investigations if and when they're needed. We educate and train. OKI 811 also provides the outreach, the safety training, and education for the public, contractors, and operators. We promote safe digging practices and legal compliance statewide. Um, if you want to add any notes in your design or anything on here, you could do that. So you're keeping in mind that each excavator company um, doing excavation work on that site, they each must have their own separate 811 dig covering the specific excavation activity area that they are working in. Um, we will go into Module 3. With this one, it goes over to dig with an excavator, the contact OKI 811, again via our website, okie811.org, or phone at least 48 hours in advance. And that does not include the day that you notify to put it that you're doing the job, weekends or holidays. With this, it ensures safety measures are coordinated, helps to prevent damage and ensure everyone's safety. We strive to make the process efficient and provide peace of mind for your project. OKI 811 processes the excavator's request. The details are collected to accurately map the dig site, emphasizing accuracy and safety. A unique ticket number is generated for the excavator. This will serve as a reference for further communications. The initial stage is vital for preventing accidents and helping to ensure that safety. The OKI 811 process begins within a locate request being dispatched to 6 pertinent members in the vicinity. That ensures that everyone is aware of the excavation site. And the 6 members that mentions, there may be more and there may be less, but 6 is the average that are noted. Or I'm sorry, yeah, 6 that are notified with all of our tickets that go out. This approach, it helps to improve communication and coordination. It promotes safe and efficient excavation practices. And then each member, they play a crucial role in ensuring the safety and accuracy of the excavation process. The members mark the location of their underground facilities. They'll use paint, flags, stakes, or all of the above, or any combination thereof, and it follows the APWA Uniform Color Code for clarity. Communication with excavators is essential. Each member must confirm that their markings and allow for safe excavation. All members must respond by the specified start date and time, facilitating a coordinated effort to prevent accidents and ensure smooth operations. The collaboration is vital for maintaining safety and keeping everyone informed. Now, so after you submit the ticket, it's very important. Wait before you dig. That is essential for the safety and compliance. All ticket members must respond to ensure underground facilities are correctly marked. Digging test holes is vital for identifying and protecting these facilities, and that helps to prevent accidents and service disruptions. The excavator confirms everything is in order before the digging starts, and this is to emphasize that safety is a shared responsibility. Next, we're going to talk about the required info that we need for locate requests when they are submitted. We need the contact information. This would be the person that you tell us companies can call and get information from if they need it while they head out or when they are there. So every locate request must include the name of the person, that submits the ticket. That's the contact information. My apologies. That's the person submitting the ticket. This ensures that there's a record of who's responsible for the request. The field contact. This is the person that you tell us that they can reach out to and get questions answered anytime. So we need the field contact's direct phone number for someone that will be on site or that has that firsthand knowledge of the project. This part is critical so locators can clarify directions or resolve issues quickly if there are any. So for an example, if a locator called the field contact and they can't access a backyard or need help finding the exact dig area, and that contact that you gave does not know the information or cannot be reached, then those companies that went out are not able to complete their part of the job and it can delay the job beginning. On the company details, that's the excavating company's name, address, and phone number, which must be listed. And this provides accountability and ensures that the correct company is tied to the excavation activity. On the locate instructions, what we need the exact location. So we need a clear address. And if you're using GPS coordinates, we've got to have exact driving directions, distances to get to that GPS. And if there's not an address, we need those directions to come from the nearest named intersection that does appear on the maps. Locators need to know precisely where the work will happen. It's not like just backyard or front yard. Give a work description. By that, you specify what type of work you're doing, such as trenching in a sewer service line, boring to put stoplights at an intersection, digging to put in fence posts, etc. Things like that. Include the scope or size of the job. So you would tell them the length of the trench or the square footage of the area that you're working within. Example, if you were using a 50-foot trench for a water line along the north fence line, put that in the locate instructions because that helps them to know specifically where and how large of an area they need to be marking. Remember, could be special considerations, so always mention anything such as if you're going to use explosives, directional boring. If it's marked, we call it white lining, but oftentimes it's marked with blue flags, blue paint, orange paint, anything like that. If you've got it marked, please notify that so they'll know they can look for that to help them. If they have pets, locked gates or anything like that that gets in the way of them getting into the locate area, or if there are steep terrain or hazards that they need to be cautious of. These details help utility operators to plan properly. Put in the start time, which would be the exact date and time that you all plan to start the job. And remember, the excavators, you must allow that 48 hours, not including weekends, holidays, or the day that you submit the request, for all utilities to respond before you begin digging. We'll next go into some understanding and ticket types. And on these, you can do a pre-excavation meeting. And that's like a joint meeting. It's a ticket used to coordinate large or complex projects, which might involve multiple utilities. So instead of just sending locates individually, it brings all the operators and excavators together to help you plan before the digging begins. You can invite utility owners. The request prompts the utility owners and operators to meet with the excavator on site where the work's being done. And that allows everyone to see the work area and ask questions that they might have directly to the excavator. We often refer or recommend that you use this if you have big projects that have long timelines for completion. There will be multiple phases, such as starting out doing leveling and dirt work. Then you're going to be building the foundations for new homes in a new neighborhood, and then laying the water lines and sewer lines and so on and such forth. That would be the multiple phases. Or if there are unusual conditions, such as road widening, subdivisions, or major utility installations that might be considered something a little unusual. Benefits of the pre-excavation meeting is it can align expectations between the excavators and the operators. It can help clarify responsibilities as to who marks what, the access issues, if any, and safety plans. It helps to prevent conflicts, delays, and any misunderstandings down the road. So, for example, we'll say like a city was planning to rebuild a major intersection with a new sewer, electric, and telecom. The joint meeting helps to ensure that all operators know the schedule, they can coordinate markings, and reduce chance of any utility conflicts. The next ticket we have is a design survey. The design survey, it's kind of the next step after the pre-excavation meeting. This is if you submit this ticket, there's no digging allowed with the design survey ticket. This is meant to just collect information before you begin the construction. It's going to help identify conflicts. It's used to spot potential issues, such as a utility line would be right in the way, crossing any of the area that you were planning to work in. So it helps you to know that in advance so you can change up your design. It gives the operator response. The facility operators, they may respond with records like maps or markings coming up and marking the area to show where the known utility locations are. So for the example here, we'll say there's an engineering firm. It's going to be planning a new subdivision. So before drawing the final utility layouts, they submit that design ticket and see which existing lines are in the area, and that will avoid conflicts between the proposed design and what is already underground, which then could delay the work. We then have our normal locate request. This is the most common type of ticket that we take. It's the standard locate request that is submitted before within the 14 days before and no less than the 3 business days before the start of the planned excavation. Again, it must be submitted at least 3 business days in advance to give the operators time to respond. It's used for the non-emergency first-time excavation at a location. It should cover everything from home projects to contractor job sites. Once the start time arrives, the ticket will remain active or valid for 14 calendar days from the start date. And if it looks like the work is not going to be finished within the 14 calendar days, you must update, renew, or request to do a remark or even just an extend 3 business days before it were to expire on the 14th day if the work is going to keep continuing. So an example here, a contractor is installing a 200-foot water line trench. It's in a residential street, and they submit the normal locate request to start on a Monday. Operators have until, you submit the request on Monday. The operators have until the end of Wednesday/Thursday morning to respond, and then digging can legally begin Thursday, and the ticket will be active for 14 calendar days from, now that says Monday, but it should be active 14 calendar days from Thursday. That's when the ticket went active for the start time. Let's see, a remark or extend. The remark ticket, that's if the markings fade, they become disturbed, or they're unclear. Or again, if it's going to go beyond the 14 calendar days, you would contact Oki and do a remark. If you do a remark, it must cover the same location and scope as the original ticket, and it cannot continue until the marks are refreshed. So if you called to do a remark and then said, I want to now also include the backyard on this ticket, and we'll say it had said the front yard, we can't do a remark with that. A new ticket would have to be created saying to locate the front and backyard on that. So no changes can be made. And on that one, we'll say like a contractor would be trenching for a fiber. Rain washes away the markings. It's after 10 days. So they submit a remark request so locators can return and reapply the markings before the work continues. You would choose to extend a ticket When the work is still ongoing, but the ticket is about to expire, again, it must be made before that original ticket expires, so within 3 days before it would expire. The scope and the location of the job, again, cannot change. And you would just let them know that you still see the markings. Everything's clear. I just need to keep the ticket active and going, so we'll extend it. With that, operators still may choose to come and revisit the site, or they may not, but that's on their choice. So you could rely on the existing marks. So an example on this one, a crew was installing water lines for a subdivision. Project is running long, so they submit an extend request on day 13 to keep the ticket active. Operators confirm, but may not come back if the markings are still valid. So remark or use fresh paint if needed. Extend just to keep that ticket alive. Extending does not guarantee new markings, so always verify positive responses before you dig. The next is our second and third notice types. Those are used when one or more of the facility operators have not responded or failed to mark the site on or before the work date and time. So it's a way to request compliance, but not to get more time on the locate job itself. So it's not an extension. If you did a second or a third notice, the original ticket timeline is still what is applicable. This does not reset that 14-day clock. You need to confirm the positive responses on that second or third notice. So even if some marks are visible, you must always check positive response to confirm all operators have replied before you dig. So an example here is you submit a ticket Monday. Thursday, 4 utilities have not marked, but the gas company, have marked, but the gas company has not. You would send a second notice through OKI 811 to the gas company themselves. So the gas then marks later that day. So the original 14-day validity still applies. It does not restart that clock. So the key things to take away here, a second or third notice is a follow-up, not a fresh start ticket. We then take emergency tickets. These are for situations where there is an immediate threat to life, health, or property. That's not to avoid a situation, it's that there is one immediately occurring. So it allows work to begin without waiting that standard 48 hours. This is the legal exception to that rule, but it is not a shortcut. So it does provide the notice. Call in as early as possible still, even if the work must start immediately. The more detail and time you can give, the more detail you can give, the faster the operators can respond. And if the more time you can give them, that allows them that grace period to get out there and do it. So you're digging safe. You explain the emergency. You'll need to be clear about the situation, such as there's a gas leak, there's a water main break, a sinkhole, a power outage, etc. Then proceed carefully. Even in an emergency, safe digging practices do still apply. Hand digging and caution are essential to avoid making the situation worse. Using this example, a contractor hits a water main line during the road work, flooding of the street and threatening nearby businesses. They decide to submit the emergency ticket immediately. The utility operators are notified and repair crews respond on site the same day. Remember, emergency tickets are about public safety, not digging convenience. We have the demolition tickets. Before any demolition begins, you would do a demolition ticket. And even if you don't plan to dig, but you're just demolishing, it still needs to be submitted because the demolition can still impact underground facilities, such as like cutting through slabs, foundations, or service connections. Excavators must first obtain the local code approval from the county, city, or whatever that they're working in and have a valid demolition permit. You then submit in advance a demolition ticket to Oki 811 at least 7 business days before the demolition work actually begins. This is going to give utility operators the time needed to respond due to the complexity and risks involved. The intent to demolish means the law requires there is notification, again, even if the project does not involve digging. Just the intent to demolish triggers the requirement. So, for example, contractor is going to tear down an old commercial building. Even though the plan is just to knock down walls, there are gas, water, and telephone lines still connected to that property. So a demolition ticket ensures operators disconnect or mark those facilities safely before that work begins. Remember on these that demolition, extra planning and notice, safety starts before the first wall comes down. If damage is done, we have that damage report. So by law, all damage must be reported immediately, even if it looks like minor or it doesn't cause or cause any outages, looks like a minor dent, ding, or whatever in the line. You still need to create that damage report by calling us. And it includes the nicks, dents, scrapes, or even if the line has just been exposed and not broken or you don't see a leak. Notify the operator of the exposed or damaged line. You call them directly so they can send their people out to inspect and or repair that facility. And then you submit the damage notice to Oki. You report that incident to Oki 811. You file that damage notice ticket. This helps to ensure that there is a documented record and the operator is officially notified. So for the example, while trenching, a crew scrapes the outer coating of a gas line, but there's no leak. It may look minor, but the protective layer is compromised. They must call the gas company and submit the damage notice through Oki 811. If you don't touch it, you report it. No, I'm sorry, if you touch it, not if you don't. If you touch it, you report it. There's a small damage today can lead to a major failure tomorrow. Remember that. Now, doing excessive or unreasonable locates. This looks a few different ways this can look. So, excavators must only request locates for work that will actually start within the 14 calendar day window. Submitting tickets too early or for areas you're not actively working on can be considered an abuse of the system. This is not a scheduling tool. We can't schedule for them to do this around your schedule like that. Oki 811 is for active excavation. It's not for reserving time or just in case planning. So if there is or unreasonable requests, such as repeatedly filing tickets for inactive or untouched areas, that ties up resources and wastes operators' times to come out and mark lines. The Oklahoma law, OUFDPA, I don't know what that little symbol is, and then 142.6K allows operators to recover cost from the excavators for these kinds of abuses. So, for example, a contractor submits an entire subdivision but is only working in one small section. The rest of the lots sit untouched for weeks. This is considered excessive because it forced the operators to mark areas that no excavation was taking place in. So only request locates for what you're about to dig. Abuse of the system slows everyone down and can cost you money. Then we're going into the utility markings and the tolerance zones to explain those. So these are not an exact science. Paint and flags, they show the approximate location of buried lines, not their exact or precise depth or alignment. The lines could curve, change depth, or be offset from those marks. So it is expected that you would use hand-dug test holes in the areas that they have marked to help expose the utility carefully with those hand tools or vacuum excavation. And again, that's to verify its exact location. Do not rely on the paint line or flags. Work slowly and deliberately near any markings. Many damages occur when crews rush or assume the line is exactly where it is marked. So the example here, a crew expected a water line to run straight across the yard where it was marked. Instead, the line curved toward the driveway. Because they hand dug a test hole first, they did spot the curve and avoided breaking that line. So the marks guide you. The test holes help to confirm reality. On emergency tickets, not quite sure. Hold on a second. Seem to put me back in another area. All right, so right there, hand digging, there we are. Any of the movement of the earth using non-mechanized tools or equipment, soft digging, or vacuum excavation. Hand digging includes, but is not limited to, the digging with shovels, picks, and manual post hole diggers. So anytime earth is being moved, the locate request does need to be sent in. You've got a tolerance zone. So the tolerance zone is going to be where you see they have marked that their lines are, need to give 24 inches minimum along both sides of that tolerance zone in the areas that you dig. And let's see, it shows that the crew saw the yellow paint markings that indicated there was a gas line. They hand dug along both sides of that marking and discovered the pipe was actually 18 inches off to the side. So if they hadn't given themselves that 24 inches on both sides and assumed it was right where it was marked, they could have hit that gas line. So since they follow the tolerance rule, they avoid hitting the pipe with their equipment. And then facility operators markings. The facility operator, not OKI 811 itself, is responsible for marking the location of the underground utilities. They mark the approximate horizontal location on the ground, the line's position from side to side. Depth is not guaranteed. Utilities, they can shift or be buried at different depths over time. They use the APWA color code so everyone knows which type of utility the paint or flags represent. Red is for the electric. Yellow is for gas, oil, and steam. Orange indicates communications. Blue would be for potable water. Green is the sewer or drain. Purple would be reclaimed water, irrigation lines. White is what is usually normally used by the excavator to show the proposed excavation. So if you see yellow paint across the lawn, that indicates that there's a gas line buried in the area. But the actual pipe could be anywhere within the tolerance zone. So you do still need to do the hand digging to confirm. Operators mark the path, not the depth, and the colors tell you what is below. The valid tickets and visible marks keep the ticket on site. A valid unexpired locate ticket must be available at the work site at all times. This provides proves that the excavation is covered and legally compliant. The marks must be visible. The paint and flags, they're your guide. If they've faded, washed away, or become disturbed, you must request the remark before you continue doing the work. No guessing or assumptions. So an example, a crew is installing a fence. Their ticket is valid, but after a week of rain, the markings are gone. They will need to pause that job, put in the remark request, and wait until it has been remarked to complete that work. So a valid ticket plus the clear marks, equals legal and safe to dig. The no conflict, if you see markings like paint on the ground with the circle and the line through it, and some facilities use a flag and they'll put a flag folded in half stuck at the front of the work area. Either of those means the utility operator has no facilities in the excavation area that was described for the job. So if you don't see paint or flags, because it may be because there is nothing to mark, but still confirm. Always go and check the positive response system, verify the operator officially cleared the area. So for an example, a homeowner requests to locate to plant a tree in their backyard. The telecom company replies no conflict because their line stops at the front yard. Since there are no lines in the dig area, then no markings appear in the back. So that homeowner would see that circle with a line through it. So no markings doesn't always mean no lines. Even if they say that, always remember, check and make sure the positive response confirms there is no conflict. Let's see, if markings are missing or incorrect during the excavation, stop immediately for your safety, contact the facility operator, report the issue, and receive further instructions. This helps to ensure clear communication, and that process helps prevent accidents, can protect workers, and maintain compliance with safety regulations. And that is all that I've got to go over in the slide. We will now go over any questions that you may have. So at this time, I'm going to turn things over to Ashley and see if there are any questions that you've submitted.
Thank you so much, Renee, for providing all of that fantastic information. There are no questions at this time, but if you all do have questions, you can submit them to education@okie811.org. Just in case you wanted to see some digital resources that cover that amazing information that Renee just presented to us, please feel free to go to our excavator page at okie811.org, or you can visit the Excavator Learning Hub that's at okie811.org. And both of those resources are included in our chat. We've included the link there. And we also have the link to our webinar feedback form that you can either click the link and access the form, or you can scan that QR code. We would love to hear from you, and we want to know about different topics that you would like to hear about, or any suggestions you may have for the webinars. We want to make sure that we are producing the best content for you, just like this amazing webinar that you attended today. And with that, I'm going to turn this over to Renee to close us out.
All right. Ashley, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate all of you that sat through this and listened. I hope that it was helpful for you and gave you some insight into things that you didn't know before. Again, if you have questions, have any feedback, please reach out to us. We are here to learn with you and from you. Have a wonderful day and keep smiling. Goodbye.